taught me virtually everything I know about string instruments. And he might have told me a little better about how to make money at it, but
I don't know how.
we kind of share that as well. And you heard a little bit about from Marc, about how he got out here. And all I can say is that I know that while Marc was running fretted instruments in New York, he was visited by lots of wonderful musicians and had the wonderful and smart talent to kind of osmose a lot of those, and as a result, you get what you'll hear as a wonderful songster. There's some CDs that he's brought with him. They'll be for sale out at the counter after the concert, but I can't tell you what a great pleasure it is to welcome Marc Silber.
Thank you. Are we okay with the sound? Well, this is the grandest of occasions, and Harry deserves every moment of it and more. And before I start, I want to just say there's some people from my hometown suddenly showing up here. Deborah and Larry Hanks, great musicians on their own right. And Larry Hanks might know the most songs of any person I know without looking at the words. And I'm always impressed with that. And if they play somewhere in this area, you would enjoy hearing them. Got arrested and thought it was an unjust charge. They arrest me for murder, never harm a man, harm no man. They arrest me for murder, never harm a man, harm no man. They arrest me for forgery, I can't even sign my name. Judge passed the sentence, clerk he wrote it down, he wrote it down. Yeah, the judge passed the sentence, clerk he wrote it down. Said, big boy, you are penitentiary bound. But when my baby heard about this, she gathered up some money, she tried to go my bail, tried to get me out of jail. My baby come running with 100 in her hand. My baby come a-running with 100 in her hand. She said, Judge, could you turn loose my man? Well, the judge, he said, baby, you better run and get you three. He told her to run and get $300 if she wanted to get me out of jail. Judge said, baby, you better run and get you three. If you want to carry big boy from this penitentiary. Well, 6 months, it ain't no sentence. Here ain't no long time, ain't no time. 6 months ain't no sentence, a year ain't no long time, ain't no time. I got got a friend in the pen, he's serving 99. When you hear that cuckoo hollering, it's a sign of day, boy, it's a sign of day. When you hear that cuckoo hollering, it's a sign of day, it's a sign of day. When you hear that jailbird singing, you know he ain't going nowhere. Last verse of that song, I learned it from the one-man band Jesse Fuller, the Lone Cat, who lived in Oakland, California. And I was surprised he knew the verse about that that jailbird and the cuckoo. Where'd you learn that? I said, where'd you learn that verse? He said, from the Harry Smith anthology. It's a song called The Cuckoo. Harry Smith was one of my mentors, fortunately, first by listening to the anthology of music and then by knowing him in New York. And he did many, many things beside this musical anthology that we cherish so much. And one surprised me greatly, and it contradicts something that Harry was talking about the first light show. Because like almost everything else in our beatnik and hippie life, Harry Smith did them all first. It turns out his famous paintings were always missing. And then someone came to San Francisco University Museum and did a show about them and had slides of some of these paintings. Now the slides looked miraculously like Jackson Pollock's work. And they were painted in 1947 or 48. And I said, what are these paintings? I've never seen anything like this that he did. She said, well, he did that when he used to perform with Thelonious Monk. And I said, he performed with Thelonious Monk doing what? Then the woman in charge of his archives said, well, you know, he'd get behind these paintings, and he invented the light show, and he would do the light show behind the paintings while Monk played piano. So he might have invented Jackson Pollock style as well as the light show. So miraculous character. It's a song from the Carter family, maybe the first song they recorded, or one of their early ones. Done in a different style. I'm going to do it in what we call 60s finger picking. The Cannonball Blues. Well, sometimes I'm happy and sometimes I'm so blue. Sometimes I'm so sad I don't know what to do. Honey, babe, I'm leaving you. I washed up my Levi's, washed my overall. I'm gonna ride a train they call the Cannonball. Honey, babe, I'm leaving you. Going away till fall. If hard times overtake me, I won't be back at all. Honey, babe, I'm leaving. Getting so tired, having this weary head. Was it something that I did? Was it something that I said? Honey, babe, leaving you. Say I'm going away, mama, to the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm gonna take my dinner 1,000 miles below. Honey, babe, leaving you. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm so blue. Sometimes I'm so sad, I don't know what to do. Honey, baby, I'm leaving you. I have a request, but I'm going to stay anyway. Reverend Davis used to come into my shop in Greenwich Village. Oh, well, many of the blind musicians would come there and be able to fetch a ride. They all had drivers, and they'd wait for their ride. A blessing in disguise, as you might say. And we were also heavily influenced by him. Peter Jacobson was there at that time, Artie Traum. A lot of people that were later to be great guitarists were hanging out there, but the greatest of all was the Reverend. And we were just not really fathoming the depth of this man. Now it's 50 years later, and we're still mining the depths of this great man. And I would try to play his songs, and there's the people want you to play them exactly like the original. And then there's the people like me that just take them and play them for years and they change. This one I'd say is inspired by a song of the same name that Reverend Davis has on one of his maybe Harlem Street Singer early record called Search My Heart. It's a song I made up. It's called Search My Heart. When you're in trouble, you better search your heart. When you're in trouble, you better search your heart. When you're in trouble, you better search your heart. There just ain't no better place you can start. And when you're in trouble, hey, you better search your heart. So when you're in trouble, oh, you better search your heart. When you're in misery and you just don't know what to do, when you're in misery, just don't know what to do. When you're in misery, you don't know what to do. Better cry all your tears until you are through. 'Cause when you're in trouble, oh, you better search your heart. So when you're in trouble, you better search your heart. Now you wake up in the morning, you've been crying all those tears. You wake up in the morning, you've been crying all those tears. Yeah, you wake up in the morning, been crying all those tears. Have you been living your life in a wilderness of mirrors? When you're in trouble, oh, you better search your heart. When you're in trouble, hey, you better search your heart. When you're in trouble, you better search your heart. Well, when you're in trouble, hey, you better search your heart. when you're in trouble, search your heart, 'cause there just ain't no better place you can start. Said when you're in trouble, when you're in trouble, hey, 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 you better search your heart. So when you're in trouble, hey, you better search your heart. Hopefully that's some good advice. As I was out standing on a corner one day, I spied an old hobo. In the doorway he lay. His face was all grounded in the cold sidewalk floor, and I guess that he'd been there, well, the whole night or more. He was only a hobo, and now one more is gone, leaving nobody carry him on, leaving nobody to sing his sad song. He was only a hobo, and now one more is gone. A blanket of newspaper, it covered his head. The steps was his pillow, the sidewalk was his bed. One look at his face, it showed the hard road he'd gone, and a fistful of money showed coins that he'd bummed. He was only a hobo, and now one more is gone, leaving nobody carry him along, leaving nobody to sing his sad song. He was only a hobo, now one more is gone. Much of a man to see his whole life go down, to look up at the world from a hole in the ground, too late for his future, like a horse that's gone lame, to lie in the gutter and to die with no name. Only a hobo, and now one more is gone, leaving nobody to carry him along, leaving now one more is gone. Written by the young Bob Dylan when he was in his folkier days, which I've always liked. I learned from Rod the Mod, whatever his name was. Rod Stewart? Now I'm going to sing you the only folk song we had in my family. My father learned at the YMCA camp when he was young, called The Dying Hobo. We had classical music in my family as my mother taught piano, but as far as the folkier side of it, this was the only one we learned. And I played it for many years. Maybe starting in the village in the late 60s, I played this. Beside a western water tank on a cold December day, in an open boxcar, the dying hobo lay. His buddy lay beside him with a low and bended head. He was listening to the last words the dying hobo said. Well, tell my girl in Detroit, who I never no more shall view, I'm going to a better land. I'm going right on through. I could hear the fast mail coming. I'll catch it by and by. Tell that gal of mine it ain't so hard to die. Yeah, I'm going to a better land where all is fair and high, where the reefer, it grows on bushes, the people stay up all night, where you don't wear no underwear, never change your socks, and a little bit of anything that you want to get comes tumbling down the rocks. Said I'm going, yeah, I'm going, I'm going, yeah, I'm going. His eyes fell in and his head fell back. He breathed his last refrain. His buddy swiped his shoes and socks, and he caught the westbound train. Said I'm going, Said I'm going. Said I'm going to a better land where all is fair and high, where the handouts they grow on bushes, the people stay up all night. Said I'm going. Said I'm going. Going to a better land. When I was playing out here at Denver Folklore Center's little storefront theater with Fred Weiss, there was a band called Lemuel Lemon and the Samuel Salmon Company, and that lasted a few minutes. Well, Lemuel Lemon, that was me, and I have been very influenced by the great country blues man Lemon Jefferson, recorded under Blind Lemon Jefferson. Here's a song in his style, or a blues. Well, listening to these great artists for 50 years and liking them better by the day. Reverend Davis and Lemon Jefferson and Robert Johnson and Doc Boggs. I just like them better every time I hear them. And I'm trying to continue in what I think is the tradition of learning the song as you like it, and then letting it change, letting it flow the way it's going to go in your life, which is what I think the original people did. Going down to the river and take my rocking chair. I'm going to the river and take my rocking chair. And if the blues overtake me, I rock myself away from there. Blues ain't nothing but a good woman on your mind. Blues ain't nothing but a good woman on your mind. The blues ain't nothing but a good woman's hard to find. Tell me, mama, tell me who your regular be. Tell me who you. Seems like you're slipping back to your old time used to be. Woman I've been loving, she's about my height and size. Woman I've been loving, she's about my height and size. She's a married woman, she comes to see me sometimes. Tell me, mama, where'd you stay last night? Tell me, mama, where'd you stay? Your hair ain't brushed and your smile just don't seem right. I'm sitting here wondering, would a matchbox hold my clothes? Would a matchbox hold my clothes? I ain't got that many matches, I got so far to go. gonna walk down by the sea. I'm going to the river and walk down by the sea. Let the tadpoles and the minnows make a fuss all over me. What's the matter now? Tell me, mama, tell me what's the matter. Tell me, mama, well, tell me what's the matter now. Tell me, mama, well, tell me what's the matter now. Lemon Jefferson was first recorded under the name of Deacon something with his initials, and he recorded religious songs. Very sweet, kind of like John Hurt. Later did a lot of blues. He was the first big selling record artist, selling 100,000 records to an audience that the record companies didn't know existed. They called them race records, and it was for the black people, sold through furniture companies and things like that. And they said that Lemon never played an instrumental. He would mostly sing in accompaniment and blues. And whereas this song, it's kind of a funny, he tells the story, he doesn't exactly sing. And it's an instrumental now, because I'm not going to tell this little story called Hot Dogs. Story about him getting invited up, he being blind, to a rent party. And then the cops are coming and everybody else saw him coming, and then Lemon winds up getting busted because he can't see the police coming. So it's his little story about his feet being so hot. Entered into it, from my point of view, some other things played in the style. When people teach it in our music, they call it ragtime guitar. The original people, ragtime was originally a composed piano music. For instance, Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin. The music that we played, that we called ragtime, the original people called it ragged time. And it comes off of all those syncopated rhythms that you hear maybe from the old shoeshine rags. And it's not exactly what ragtime music is. It's called ragged time. This song is in ragged time. In the middle, I might play something in ragtime. Matters how good we're going. Hot Dogs. I played a little tune that I made up in the Denver Times of the 60s that Harry was always so fond of. So when it's a singing song, it's called Mr. Poco Loco. It's a little Poco Loco, that stuff. Well, I've been spending a lot of time in Mexico in the last few decades. I had a guitar making company down there in the 90s for about 10 years, and now I have a house down there and I go quite often. And I feel people have a little bit of wrong idea about the situation there. But one of my oldest friends, Joe Loop from the Attic, and me, we were some of the few folkies that really liked rock and roll and admitted it in the day. And I had this dream of going to Mexico and wandering around and going to all the cantinas and cafes, but instead of seeing the local musicians, I'd see Aretha Franklin and Otis Redding and things like that. So I made up a song about it, and a little protest about everybody telling me not to go there. And song's called Going to Mexico. Going to Mexico. Do not tell me I should not go. I'm going to Mexico. Don't tell me I should not go. Cause I might even see Martha, well, and her Vandellas dancing there. Might even see Rita in all the Spanish Harlem. They'll be dancing there. I'm going to Mexico. Don't tell me I should not go. I'm going to Mexico. Don't tell me I should not go. When I look into the cantina, I see Ike and Tina Turner and they're dancing there. Might even see Otis singing his happy, happy song all night long. Be singing dum, 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 happy, happy, happy song. Sing it all night long. Be singing dum, 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 happy, happy, happy song. Sing it all night long. I'm going to Mexico. Singing her heart out down in San Antonio. She's singing Mal Hombre, Que pasa con tu corazonio. I'm going to Mexico. Do not tell me I should not go. I'm going to Mexico. Don't tell me say I should not go. I'm going to Mexico. If you're not familiar with Lydia Mendoza, she's born and raised in Texas. Oh, great. She's an American born and raised that doesn't speak English, or she didn't. She recently died maybe a few years ago. Recording from 1927 and into the 90s from southern Texas. And I think she's one of our greatest musicians. I call her the lead belly of the border. She plays a 12-string guitar. Her family were kind of like the Carter family. They collected songs and sang in a group. And she's just outstanding. And of course, her big hit song was Mal Hombre. Maybe we'll enter the sing-along phase. It's a great part of our tradition. This is a song I wrote. It's kind of a protest song, I guess. When I got my first remote control TV, I soon realized I couldn't get around the dial without seeing a murder. And it kind of weighed heavily on me, or somebody getting killed. There's no way you can get through 50 channels in the United States. So I made up a little song, and maybe you can sing along with me if you're the kind. Been another murder on TV. Sure am glad, well, that it was not me. Well, yep, I'm mighty tickled. Tell me, can you plainly see? There's been another murder, and it was on TV. You wanna sing with me? There's been another murder. There's been another murder on TV. I sure am glad, well, that it was not me. Yep, I'm mighty tickled. Tell me, can you plainly see? Been another murder, and it was on TV. There's been another murder on Channel 2. I sure am glad, well, that it was not you. Yes, I'm mighty tickled. Tell me, can you plainly see? There's been another murder, and it was on TV. There's been another murder on Channel 4. I sure am glad, well, that there was not more. Yep, I'm mighty tickled. Can you plainly see? There's been another murder, and it was not me. Let's sing. There's been another murder on TV. I sure am glad, well, that it was not me. Yes, I'm mighty tickled. Well, can you plainly see? There'd been another murder, and it was on TV. Been another murder on Channel 5. I sure am glad, well, just to be alive. Yes, I'm mighty tickled. Tell me, can you plainly see? There'd been another murder, and it was on TV. There's been another murder on Channel 7. fastest and the safest way that you could get to heaven. It's faster than a jet plane or a rocket machine. There'd been another murder, and it was on TV. And inspired by my remote control, there'd been another murder by remote control. Thank God for instant replay. It helps us count the toll. Thank God for instant replay. It helps us save our soul. Been another murder by remote control. Everybody sing. There's been another murder on TV. I sure am glad, well, that it was not me. Yes, I'm mighty tickled. Can you plainly see? There's been another murder, and it was on TV. There's been another murder, and it was on TV. I'm going to do a couple more. I think we're going to keep this to a certain length of his jam or of his concert. I'm going to try to play this one now. In 1927, there was a tremendous flood on the Mississippi called the Greenville Flood. Many songs were written about it. That was a lot of the media in those days. You had Bessie Smith with her Backwater Blues. You had Lemon Jefferson, Charlie Patton with High Waters Rising, and you had Memphis Minnie, Levee Breakin' Blues. It was a terrible tragedy, compounded by racial discrimination that popped up in parts of it. And then we had the Katrina tragedy, about, I guess 5 years ago or something. As I took Charlie Patton's idea, High Water Rising, and I made it into a little more modern song. High water's rising all around my windows and doors. High water's rising all around my windows and doors. Police, they were telling us to go. We didn't have no place to go. So we went over to the 9th Ward. We went over to St. Bernard Town. Went over to 9th Ward. We went over to St. Bernard Town. There were 50 women and children, and you know they were sinking down. Water was rising around my windows and doors. High water rising around my windows and doors. The police was telling us to go, but we We didn't have no place to go. So we went over to Vicksburg, and Natchez was down below. Yeah, we went over to Vicksburg, Natchez was down below. Well, we went over there where the waters could not go. And I rolled a little boulder up on a high and a lonesome hill. Yeah, I rolled a little boulder up on a high and a lonesome hill. Well, I've never seen so much water, and I hope I never will. High water was rising all around my windows and doors. High water's rising around my windows and doors. The police was telling us to go. We didn't have no place to go. We asked the government for help, but the help it never came. We asked the government for help, but that help it never came. They told us to dry up, but we were soaking wet just the same. 'Cause the high waters was rising around my windows and doors. High waters was rising around my windows and doors. The police was telling us to go. We didn't have no place to go. Police was telling us to go, but we didn't have no place to go. I'm gonna do 2 more songs. That's what this means. That's like when you want to say, what was that? Half a peace sign. We're going to do 2 more. One, I was singing this in 1968 in Boston, and Joe Loop happened to be there. And then afterwards, he said, I really like that song. I think you should send it to Ray Charles. And I said, well. Then I played it for Mr. Tuft, and he said, I really like it, but that last verse don't make any sense, does it? And I said, guess not. So it took me maybe 40 years to change that verse around. I'm going to sing it for you, and it's dedicated to these 2, Harry Tuft and Joe Loop. I met in Colorado in early 60s, both. I woke up this morning with a tear welled up inside. And then I thought about how hard we try. Well, it ain't the tears Oh, but the years that might have been, and you, oh yeah, you never outgrow your need for friends. Well, some people stop, and then they feel just like a rock of stone. And some people wander through their whole life alone. But wanderers get weary, always searching for a home. And you, oh yeah, you never outgrow your need for friends. Oh no, oh no, no, oh no, not your need for friends. Oh no, oh no, no, oh no, not your need for friends. Some people grow, and some people, well, they just change. See the baby flower, see it standing in dry land. Well, not enough rain. Could you lend a helping hand? And you, oh yeah, you never outgrow your need for friends. Oh no, 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 oh no, not your need for friends. Oh no, oh no, no, oh no, not your need for friends. Okay, we're going to do one more and sing along, and then we'll go onward to the rest of our life. This song came to me after Artie Traum died at a party in Berkeley, and I thought we're going to sing something in a spiritual manner. I remember there was a lot of great people at this party. Maybe Larry Hanks and Deborah, maybe Mike Silber was there, and a woman named Jenny Hawker, I think, who was a very great singer. Anyway, we all started singing in it. And maybe you'll join in with me. The chorus goes like this. Glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down. Just sing that with me. Glory, glory. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. When I lay my burden down. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, I'm gonna sit down at the welcome table. When I lay my burden down. I'm gonna sit down the welcome table. When I lay my burden down, singing glory, glory, singing glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, singing glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, I'm gonna be so happy that I'm gonna be in that number. When I lay my burden down, I'm gonna be so happy that I'm gonna be in that number. When I lay my burden down, singing glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, singing glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, said you got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Ain't nobody here gonna walk it for you. You got to walk that lonesome valley by yourself. Singing glory, glory, singing glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, singing glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, when I lay my burden down. Thank you very much.
Marc Silber. Thank you, Marc.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for being
Appreciate
here.
it.
Thank you for being
Thank
you. Thank you all for coming and for all that you've contributed. And just a reminder tonight at L2, Tim O'Brien, Dakota Blonde, starting off with Dick Weissman, and a very rare occurrence from Nick and Helen Forster. Marc has some CDs that are down at the counter for $10, and I'm sure.
Oh, let me say something about that. They're $10. Is this on? They're $10. But tomorrow, if you buy a CD of either Jim Queskin or Jeff Moldauer, you can have one of mine for free.
Hey, how about that?
If there are any left, which I'm sure there will be. You can have one for free. You got to buy one of those guys, and you get one for free.
So thank you all for coming. Thank you, Marc Silber.